fucked up. They don't know what the fuck they thinking. They don't know what the fuck they thought they were fucking with right now. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the shit that you thought I was a ghost or some shit. Nigga, fuck out of here. I'm back to snapping on niggas like I done put my dancing shoes on to go tap dance on niggas like tat-a-tat-tat, I rat-a-tat-tat, splatting bars on these niggas. These niggas drop jaws at the sight of them back like a figure, a ghost that's just entered the building. The remind I'm coming so cold as the coldest of winters. Don't step on the wood and get splinters. The master is back in the building, so honor your mentor. You disrespect, you gon' need ditches. The jaws of life on your neck like some pictures from crabs in the bucket. Do you get the picture? Fuck you mean? What the fuck do I mean? What I mean is I'm more like a god with these scriptures. I'm like light to the game like a fixture, and I'm still needed, little niggas, so fuck you mean. Fuck you mean why I'm coming so mean? You niggas had time on the scene. Now I got a beam locked on anyone in the way of my team. The club been preparing to fuck up the scene. I take over as needed, you know what I mean. My eyes locked on one thing, the same color that's green. Been stacking these records to fuck up the scene. My team waiting like John Legend's lights turning green. You made me a bull, so I smile while I'm mean. I've been cool, but I still will send chills up your sleeve. Pouring syrup on the game like a pint of that lean. Class in session, so take your seat, bitch, I'm a dean. You little niggas really think you're doing something with them bullshit records. Pinky up, this is chestnut checkers. I come through your door like a home wrecker, your spot show like leopards. Say where in the fuck have you been? I just took all this time to get clever and wait for the moment to go pull the lever. Crossed over horizons and even expanded on all my endeavors. Thinking we scared of you? Nigga, that's never. Make them forget about you just like Kesha. Bury your body right next to my treasure, nigga, fuck you mean. I'm an animal cannibal, take your head off like Hannibal. Play with fire, you fucking with someone so very flammable. Niggas acting like a beast when they a cookie good animal. Niggas think that they can train me, but I've been unmanageable. Your ego damageable. Us being friends, my nigga, that is not amicable. Taking me out, I showed you I am ineradicable. Bitch, I got the game on lock and that's factual. Fuck you mean.
Fuck you mean.
I've been a nightmare to the game like Freddy. Killing these niggas way colder than Melly. I had a loud pack in the stew for these rappers before it was legal in delis. She gonna act like you the one she want, but back in the back she giving me jelly. Busting it down in the telly while I'm on the phone for a chopped cheese to be brought to me straight out the deli. Ain't no complaints, I grew my hair out, now witness my strength. I pull the strings while raising the ranks. I do this shit niggas know that they can't while I laugh to the bank. Fucking with me niggas know that they can't. I got the crown in your town like a tank. Be in the door by these bitches like Shabba, 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 Shabba. Right, my crew is the grandest nigga, clank, clank. They know we the shit, but we don't stank. If I'm in the club and that bitch is not mine, then I'm no T-Pain, I won't buy you no drink. I won't give you my all, give a fuck what you think. All I give is hard to use your brain, everything. Wanna be a hot girl, I'ma treat you like one when the summer ends. You gon' wish you were that woman standing by me in a mate. I'm already go to give a fuck what you think. Motherfucker don't blink. Skating around these niggas, motherfucker roll a ray. They were biggest tie 10 until they hooker is safe. I make water drip automatic and throw it right into a paddock. I never feel static, just know if I want it, I have it. I had her and had her right back to you before you complain. No one coming problematic when the automatic just appear like magic. Get to wicked havoc, let a hater have it. Saying who's bad in the red jacket, stepping like Jackson, smoking perp while I get to my goal like golden purple on my legend like magic. If I yell hootie hoo, my niggas start mashing, so with this tight and trust me, you don't want clashing. I'm doing shit you can't even imagine. Step on the scene and it's like coming action. I remove niggas from Rummy who acting like we really cool and my cool tip ain't lasting. Soon as my cup runneth over, you getting run over by how I feel without a warning. Bitch, I'm not asking, what is that smell you wearing? Success and it's all that I'm basking. 20 years in the game, niggas ain't caught up to my traction, and I ain't been caught up by no bitch with a fatal attraction from dope dick that I give when I'm smashing. And I ain't been caught up by no label trying to fuck me over, that's why I'm still lasting. But you can get caught up fucking with a winner who be taxing. Cause I ain't here to play with you niggas, I'm only here for my figures. I'm on the path to be jiggered, that means I hit to get richer. While I'm spinning these lyrics, I'm turning to hieroglyphics. I keep these women looking at me delicious, and they still know that I'm vicious. The whole game dirty, you should clean up your dishes. But who am I kidding? We know you're gonna learn the hard way when you fucked them for a penny in a harder way. They say, why you back, Jay? I think I raised the bar today. Spitting hot lyrics like butter for the bread, I'm parquet. Get on the track with me, nigga, mini, can I partake? I'm gonna live anything, nigga, you know I will go away. Back talk for the back, nigga, I'm a stowaway. Keep you looking over your shoulder, my art just keep it the body. You should be scared of nigga, cause this shit a throwaway.
You niggas ain't fucking with me, stop playing yourself.
Damn.
Elevate your standards.
What's up, everyone? I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. You know, I know how this thing goes. You already know how this shit goes. You know, we get people who pop in and pop out throughout the night. That's not what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's about capturing this moment, bringing to you live dope people who I consider to be some of the ghosts in this industry, or within their respective industry, people who have trailblazed and paved the path in their respective fields. And this person, you know, that I want to bring in is no different. He's no less great than the other ghosts that I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to speak to. Actually, we've known each other for a very, very long time. We go back very, very far. I'd say about a good 5 years. Do me a favor if Gabe is inside. Gabe, if you're in the chat, just send me a invite, send me a request to jump in the live, and then I'll pull you in. But yeah, just to give you a little bit of context. So you know how I do. This is Crown Talk Conversations. Every time I do one of these, usually like once or twice a month. Whenever I got a show that's about to pop off, I usually have some dope guests that I'm able to bring through, and just meet so many dope people in the process that I think that I have these conversations with these people, and I think that when I talk to them, the things that they have the conversations that I have with these people are is just very highly enlightening, and no shortage of the gems that I'm able to get from these guys. And so every time you get to tune into one of these conversations, man, make sure that you're taking notes, make sure that you really tapped in. And also, if you know artists, other people who can learn from these conversations and gain insights and so much from gems from these conversations from people like I'm about to have this conversation with right here, my guy right here. Make sure that you tag them, share this, share the live to them, get them in here, because this is where they need to be. They want to learn, they want to grow, they want inspiration, they want guidance, they got questions of things that they're facing within their experiences within their industries. This is where you want to be, because I'm giving you the floor to be able to connect and talk with these people and be able to ask them questions that you have on your mind right here and there. So without further ado, man, I wanna give a big shout out and a huge thank you to my brother, my friend. We've known each other for years. We've had so much history together. We've grinded through the mud together. We've we've came up together. You know what I mean? Our history goes back very, very long, and for a long time, this conversation right here has been a long time coming. It's been years in the making,
Years.
but now we're at a place where just the timing just aligned, and my brother Mixed by Gabriel.
Whoop, whoop,
Most of
whoop,
you
whoop.
know him as Mixed by Gabriel. Some of you may know him as the legendary producer Third Eye Sound. Maybe otherwise you know him as a Billboard charting producer,
Mm-hmm.
engineer,
You know
Mixed
what
by
I'm saying?
Gabriel. Maybe you know him as the boss that's one half of the boss that's running up Cooking Up Studios. My God, how are you, bro?
I am blessed and highly favored. Thank you for that amazing introduction. It was
Man,
amazing.
I try, man. Maryland's finest right here, And if by chance if you know this guy from Maryland, I'm sure that from a different lens, you're able to see in your own hometown how this guy right here is becoming a goat, in his own right and stuff like that, bro. Gee, how I know our history. I know your history. I know how long, how many years, how many 10,000 hours have been put into, developing and growing and further, evolving your craft and stuff like that. But, we're at a place where these Crown Talk conversations are meant to be with very special people who have really made their landmark in their respected industries, bro. And you're no different, because I know what you've done to get here. I've
Mm-hmm.
known what you've gone through, but I want to be able to hear, people to be able to hear it from your mouth, just where you come from, your background, and, what it took for you to get to where you are today, and who exactly is Gabriel, whether you know him as Gabriel Pearson, whether you know him as Mixed by Gabriel, whether you know him as Third Eye Sound. Man goes has by many aliases, but who are you, man? Let
Yeah,
them know
yeah,
who
yeah.
you are.
Let's get into
Let's
it.
get
So my name's Gabriel, obviously. He said that. I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland, a little small town outside of Washington, D.C., nice little suburb beginnings. Yeah, so basically, in 2014, 2015, I went to music school in Silver Spring, well, in Rockville, Maryland, in my hometown. And that basically started my path and my journey. From that point, I basically continued to freelance and basically like make as many connections and do as many things while in school as possible, just to, you know, further, I guess, further just establish my education in like a real setting as far as like actually being in studios. Like, you know, it's one thing to learn in a class. It's a whole different thing to be in a session. So I tried to like get out and like do sessions on my own while I was in school, which a lot of people wasn't doing. And then when I graduated, I went to LA and New York for interviews for internships, right? And I just ended up happening to get a internship in New York City first at Atlantic Records Studio and Midtown Lounge Studios. But I also made a bad mistake and double intern. That's how me and him met, by the way. So I doubled intern, meaning like a smart guy I was, I interned at 2 studios at the same time, which was a horrible decision. But
So you were at Atlantic.
I was at Lounge and Quad at the same time. Facts.
But you were at Lounge first before
Yes.
you ever ended up at Quad.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, hey, we all learning stuff.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. So I moved to New York for Lounge and ended up being a smart guy and applying to Quad while I was out there and got that too. And I was like, oh, well.
Right. Maximizing on opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I soon learned that, you know, you only have so much time in a day. And just to be honest, I mean, I'm sure we can get into this later in the combo, but what a studio of that magnitude requires, you can't do 2. Because they're already drawing all your energy, all your time, all your mental strength, everything. They're taking it all from you. So you can't do 2, is all I'm saying. Especially if you're going to put your all in it. It's just not possible. It's not happening.
Right.
So I figured basically what happened was, this is like how I got. So basically, like growing up and being raised, I was very close to my mom, and she's a therapist. So I'm basically giving you guys like explanation of who I am and why I am the way I am super quick. But basically, my mom's a therapist, so she always taught me how to be in connection with my feelings and other people's feelings and how to communicate properly. That was something my mom imparted on me at a very young age, and also just being honest, genuine, and transparent. Like, she imparted a lot of those morals in me, right? So I had that from her. Then when I moved to New York, I got this crazy, intense, burning, grinding hustle sensation and like quick maturing moment where like I was just thrown in a completely different city. And you know how they say you only start living life or really start growing when you're out your comfort zone? Yeah. That happened to me. Okay. So basically what I think happened was, because I moved to a complete place with no connections and just like a complete, like just a ballsy move in general, I think it forced me to mature quicker and to learn things faster than the majority. Like, I see New York, like I said this a couple of weeks ago to someone, but I see New York as my university, meaning I didn't go to college as my university. I saw New York as like where I got my my hustle degree. You know what I mean? Like, I got
you had unofficially applied and got a scholarship to the School of Hard Knocks.
Facts. Yeah, all right. So there you go. Yeah. So that's what happened. Yeah. So basically,
and then you went to your 4-year degree program.
Right. Facts. Right. Because I, you know, had that foundation of like a loving, supporting person in my life before that, I feel like that carried through. Therefore, people love to work with me because of my, like, you know, anyone who works with me knows that it's the Mixed by Gabriel family over here. Like, I don't consider no one who locks in with me on a regular basis a client at all. I call and check in on people. I'm a genuine, humble person you can call and holler at. And I think that has carried me through and through, to be honest, even through the ups and downs of like getting bullshit deals with labels, selling placements. We can get into all that. But this like foundation of like being a genuine good person and what that's done for me has carried me through all that bullshit. So I think Mixed by Gabriel is just an honest, true, just genuine, honest person that does his utmost to put his all in every piece of art that I touch. That's
now. Let me ask you this question, just to back up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, upon making the decision to move from the town of Maryland to New York, and you basically moved here by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much courage did you was it easy for you to just make that move? Like, yeah, nah, this, I'm on my way to New York. I'm out this, I'm not scared. I'm not nervous at all. Or did it take you time to build up a lot of courage to make such a decision, to feel comfortable with making such a move to a even bigger city, not knowing the realm of where you were going and what you were getting into, like how much fear did you have going into making this decision, or how much courage did you have, and self-assurance that you had going into finalizing the decision to say, I'm gonna take this leap and go to New York and try to make this thing happen.
Got you. I mean, definitely. I mean, the thing about me is, if I look back in my past and just my journey in life, some of the biggest decisions I've made and conclusions I've come to are like, whatever it is, like maybe going to a certain high school, or whatever big decisions I had to make as an adult. The majority of the biggest, most serious ones, to be honest with you, the reason I made those decisions is because I always felt like I had no other choice but to do it. Meaning, like I said, I didn't go to a 4-year college, so it was music or music. I went to technical school, so it was like there wasn't like, it was my back against the wall. There wasn't like a how people have like a plan B and plan C. There wasn't none of that, bro. It was like, it was like, I have to make this work. My parents, like, helped me go to music school, and they're, supporting me. Like, I have to make this work. They support me. They're behind me. Like, yeah, facts. I need to prove all of y'all motherfuckers that this is possible. Like, I had so much of that, like, just utter, like, I have to make this work, that I didn't even fear, to be honest, until I got to New York. Then the real shit happened. And if I'm just being, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. Moving to, a city and going into one of the most competitive industries in the country in general, it was the darkest times I've ever experienced, for sure. First year or two, dark as fuck. Not making money, horrible apartment, horrible roommates, people harassing. Like, bro, I could go on a list. If you can when they say you can make it in New York, bro, you can make it anywhere. They're not lying, bro. The amount of things you go through out here is like next level, bro. Because it's not even like just the job or just how expensive it is. It's like, I also gotta go home and deal with dickhead roommates because I don't have that much money to buy a nice ass apartment yet. You know what I mean? Like, things like that you don't think of, so you don't have peace at home. So it's like you constantly just don't have peace of mind for like years straight.
So giving those type of environment and circumstances, how were you able to really keep your focus and your concentration in what you were doing, and not be able to be so distracted or so like you discouraged in the process of like, damn, this shit is like this, let alone trying to deal with the shit that I'm dealing with in, trying to make a name in the industry. I'm also dealing with my personal day to day, and it's just not, it is just not helping in an environment that's conducive to keeping me in the mind state of like just feeling like I'm positively going in the direction I want to go. If you're in those type of stressful, under those duress circumstances, how were you able to stay so streamlined, focused on, not losing sight or not losing courage and going in the direction that you were trying to go with the music?
Well, definitely when I first moved out here, I definitely didn't really have a way of doing that. So when I say dark, I really meant dark. Like, I was definitely going through the motions of like, shit, using whatever I could to numb the pain. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So I shouldn't have to go too much into details. But yeah, in the beginning, I definitely was not on good things that helped with that. It was more negative things. But as I continued in my internship and I got past like what I consider the bullshit phase, and I start to get to sit in with sessions and have like a mentor who like really like cared for me and checked in on me and like kind of gave me that like older brother love or vibe, things started to change. And that was like, so I would say that was after the first year. So after the first year, it switched from like me being dark and negative and like, trying whatever I could to like just get past this hard ass moment, to me finding someone and finding a thing to like help me continue in a positive light without having to do those things. But yeah, bro, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit, bro. In the first year, Shit, a lot of alcohol. You
Yeah,
know?
no,
But I'm here, look, I'm here to be truthful with y'all and
no,
transparent so that y'all can understand the seriousness of this and how hard this shit is.
yeah.
And so maybe that you can, give yourself a pat on the back for doing things in the music industry or just not being so hard on yourself. I hope some things that I say gives you that for yourself, Yeah.
So now going let's unpack a little bit of just the experiences because we talked on the things that you experienced when in terms of like just living in New York. Let's talk about what it was like going to start this new life as an intern at this big, these big, big name, famous studios and stuff like that, not knowing what you're about to come into, who you about to encounter, what type of even lifestyle you're even about to exist under, as an intern. And what you're really getting into when in terms of saying like I'm signing up to go and do this internship at a recording studio and it's let me ask you this question: when you first got the approval to, when you were back in Maryland, it's like you got approved to be at this studio. Did you think you made it? Did you
No.
think like this was it? I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
I mean, maybe. I highly doubt that.
Uh-huh.
Maybe until I got to that small ass apartment with no window.
Right.
You
Yes.
know what I'm
So so
saying?
so let's unpack your experience from like when you got here and you started going through the internship. Like, what is some of the experiences that you really come to experience and learn from and kind of help shape the type the personality of who you are today in this business.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. A lot because I stuck around lounge for more than, most people do. Probably I'd say altogether probably 2 years, maybe a
Mhm.
little bit over. But yeah, honestly, I grasped so much from lounge just because that was my first like big studio experience, and I got to see all the intricacies of how they ran their scheduling, how they, how much they paid for rent, how much their
Mhm.
overhead was, how much they had to charge, how many sessions they needed booked to make over their rent. All of these things I had no clue about. How you could be, profitable as a big recording studio in a big popular city. So
Mhm.
that was very clear to me. I mean, I got to understand responsibility, hustle, grind, determination, just understanding that if you put that extra work in, that extra elbow grease, that
Mhm.
like good things can come to fruition. For example, like I would clean this one studio room all the time and reorganize it, trying to get the owner's attention for months. And finally, he noticed that, like, oh yeah, this kid Gabe's always in there, like tightening things up, trying to like fix things. Da 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 da. So we get to talking. I'm like, yo, dude, like I've only been doing this, to be honest, because I wanted the spot to look really nice, but I also wanted to like help y'all get this room back in order.
They
And
never
he,
asked you to do that.
no,
You just
didn't ask me to do that.
took it
That's what I'm
upon
saying.
yourself.
Correct. So those type of things though are what is going to take you to that next step, because what happened was, because of that, he went out and went to B&H. I remember this shit like it was yesterday, and literally bought me everything for the studio and literally just left it in the room the next day and was like, there you go, set it up and you can start bringing clients in. I was like, all right. So literally like my first real shot at like a big studio was at Lounge Studios in the Ebony studio, which is right next to their Ivory studio, which is the biggest one they have. And I literally just refurbished it and reconnected everything and got new speakers and yeah, got that shit fully running. And then that led to him trusting me with writing sessions. So I got to work a lot of like Atlantic Records, Warner Records, E1 Music writing sessions
Mhm.
because of that. So I'm saying all this to say that small thing that I took upon myself led to that, like that domino effect.
No, that's
First, I
dope.
got the chance to like have my own little room thing on the side. And then, obviously I could do my own work there, but then also he's like, yo, let me see what Gabe can do in sessions. And now he's
Hmm.
throwing me work because he saw that determination, that grind, that like me wanting to help out, me wanting to be a part, and me taking that that action and not waiting for him to ask me to do something. That's the thing. If I got to ask you to do something, I don't really, you know what I mean? Like, I just already see you a certain way. You should be taking that initiative to build the business or to clean. Like, it's very common sense stuff. Like, oh, I see the trash is full. Let me empty it. Why does he have to tell me to do that? Like, these type of things show just good human, like, morals and just ways of, like, these are all just common things that just say that you're a person that can handle responsibilities. That's really all it does, you know?
When he gave you access to that room, and gave you all this equipment, did you know how to set all that stuff up? Did
No.
you have help setting it up? You set.
I figured it out though.
You had to set the whole entire room up by yourself.
Yes.
And what was some of the the things you did to really go out to go out of your way to find answers to the questions that you didn't have in in the process? Because some people will be like, I don't know, I don't have the answer to this, and then just throw their hands up and not know, not even know where to go from there. You know? So you took this from parts on the floor to a fully functional up and coming room, not knowing what to do and how to even set this up. What was that? What pushed you through that process?
Well, first of all, I knew Walt. That's the owner's name. I know him like the back of my hand, and I knew that the last thing I was gonna do was ask him or anyone else for help. It's not what I was about to do because that was gonna go south. So what I got to do is prove my worth and prove my troubleshooting capabilities. Okay. Engineers, our best skill and what we do 90% of the time is just troubleshooting, figuring out problems. You know what I mean? Oh, this person doesn't like how their vocals sound. Why? What do I got to do? That's troubleshooting right there. And that's like every day. So I just went about literally just trial and error, dude. Like fucking trial and error, YouTube University vibes, maybe even manual. I definitely did some manual read-ups. I remember like it was yesterday. I was using the Avid IO like interface, like the original joint, going with an Avalon 737 with a U87 in the booth, with a big knob. It wasn't a crazy immaculate setup, but it was enough for me not to know what the fuck I was doing and still figure it out. But yeah, it was basically just an Avalon, a big knob, a Mac, an Avid interface, and a fucking U87. You know what I mean? So pretty much what I would say is just trial and error for the most part, to be honest. Just figuring it out. Like, oh, I plugged this into here. What, does sound come out? No. Okay, let me try on the other side. Oh, does it come? You know what I mean? And then obviously reading manuals. Like I read the manual for the Avid interface. That's how I figured out how to connect the Avalon to it and how to get the sound back into the speakers.
What was it like? Do you remember your very, very first recording session that you did?
At Lounge or in general?
In a professional studio. As a client, this is my first official recording client session in a major professional studio versus back in Maryland at home, or anything like that. Like, do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, I do, to be honest. All right, so I really wanted to like work sessions and like level up quickly at Lounge. So one thing I took upon myself, anyone can use this on their own as a suggestion in your own career. I definitely suggest it. But what I did is I took it upon myself to go to my mentor, Mixed by Blue, and literally he can attest to this. I went up to him and said, yo, I want to get better at recording and tracking. I'm trying to do some sessions. Can you set up a mock session for me? He literally brought one of his artists, came upstairs and watched me record him. That was the most nerve-wracking shit ever. And I consider that my first real, like, because I had like, someone I looked up to and someone who's like big to me, like behind me, like watching me with like a stranger in the booth who I don't know too, recording him. And I'm like trying to be as fast as I can, as quick as I can, like thinking in the back of my head, like, shit, I didn't hit that or whatever it is. Like he's gonna yell at me, whatever. It's very nerve-wracking, but like, it definitely gave me that good feeling after him just like giving me the pat on the back, being like, yeah, there's not too much to give you feedback on. Like that was his first comment, but he was like, you could get quicker here. I saw you didn't do this shortcut. You need to get used to using that shortcut, whatever it is. And that is what I would consider my first like real, because that was like my first nerve-wracking experience with
Real
like
nerve-wracking.
a situation. You know what I mean? Just because it's like, you know, I'm an intern at that point. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to prove to him, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm worried I'm gonna lose my internship if I don't do this. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very nerve-wracking. But that was definitely like my little like shocking session moment in the beginning.
That's shocking.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
no, that's dope. It's so cool to, you know, ask those questions, because it's like when you think about where you were then and then looking, you know, at where you are now, and thinking about, you know, just processing, like, man, like how many sessions, how many hours, how many experiences, how many crazy experiences did I go through to get to this point in my life where I can walk in this room with some of the strongest confidence I've never might have had, you know, you know, and more greater nerves of steel before, you know, than I'm ever, you know, had before when I was going through these experiences and learning how to deal with them. Look how far and how much I went through just to get to a place where look how far I've come, and I feel more assured, seasoned. Let me ask this question: Do you still consider yourself there's more to learn and grow at this point for
Always,
you?
every day. I'll never answer that question differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be 50 years old and I'll still be fucking reading a fucking manual on engineering, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Big facts. You know what I'm saying? One of my mentors at my school, actually, he was a Pink Floyd legendary engineer for Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Side of the Moon, actually, he did the whole
Yeah.
album. But he said, this is like a 55, 58-year-old dude, right? He's like, you'll never be better at me than engineering because I'm 55 and I still am keeping up to the things that you guys are reading. So like when there's a new book, I'm reading it too. And I've
Mm-hmm.
been doing this 40 plus before you came around. So I'm always going to be ahead of you. And he literally told me that. He was like, I'm always going to be ahead of you. You're never going to be ahead of me. Ever. And there's like a 58-year-old engineer, bro, like just popping his shit. Like, y'all ain't never going to be better than me. I was like, that's lit. So ever since then, I've been like, yeah, bro, I'm never going to stop the process of like upping things. You should never.
Yeah.
There's always new technology. There's always new things. Like, it will never change. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. All right. So I want to pivot for a second, and you know, we touched on just your incline into the engineering side of things. You are a producer as well, a successful producer at that. And I want to kind of go down, you know, touch on that and just dig into that aspect of your career for a moment. And when you came into New York, did you have it in your mind to, like, first of all, was it more about engineering, or was it more about producing when you first got here? What was your initial focus? Or
I
was it both?
mean, to be honest and true with you,
Mm-hmm.
production has always been my forefront biggest passion and love.
Okay.
So that's always going to be forefront for me. Meaning, see, that's the thing that people don't understand. Engineering and the way I engineer and the way I mix feeds directly into my production. Meaning, 9 times out of 10, I added an 808 in a song I mixed. 9 times out of 10, I took away a clap and added a different clap. I put a rim shot in between. 9 times out of 10, I created a bridge that wasn't there. Like, I'm always producing. So like, that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, I could be recording someone and be producing them vocally right there. And that's production. Like adding crazy effects. That's production. So it's like, I feel like people don't understand how broad of a term it is. But as far as beat making and like making beats, that's still my biggest number one passion. And I feel like engineering was my way in to the industry. And production just is always there for me. And it will always continue to get me placements and situations. But engineering is like the way I got into the room. Because engineering is easier to get certified in and established in. And there's like a syllabus and a way you can learn. Like it's a technical skill. Production isn't, bruh. There is no school for beat making that you get certified in and everyone wants to work with you. Like, that's not a thing as much as engineering is. So engineering was the quick, smart answer for me to get to New York quicker and start working around these people I can get placements with.
That was
And
it.
that's, yeah, I mean, that's, to be honest, if you look at the most successful producers, like in 2023, from 2020 to 2023, if you look at the list, every single one of them engineers. Every single one. Every single one. Like, for sure, bro. Like, they can all record and they can make it sound decent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's how you, bro, that's how you get in the rooms, bro. Everyone needs an engineer. And 9 times out of 10, who's getting asked to pull up the beats? Engineer. So I stop you before we even get there. Oh, yeah, by the way, bro. By
Yeah.
the way. You know?
By the way, I got production. But you know, fast forward and you're the the beat making side of your career has grown its own legs and taken a life of its own. I know for a fact, you know what I mean? Just in the history of me knowing you, and I kind of want you to touch on, just what it takes as as a music producer trying to reach out and get, you take your work of art from the computer to trying to get it on artists and connect with different artists and get it in people's hands and stuff like that, because I've seen you literally do some real you know you know deep dive groundwork to get out there, and connect with people and stuff like that. And I want people to be able to hear that journey from you, the things
Yeah.
that you did to really move your production through
Yeah.
the
I
industry.
mean, to be honest with you, one of the biggest things that I've noticed through my journey is, first of all, just to be honest, this is just a statement I'm gonna make. I never thought that I was gonna be at this place where my mixes were that lit to the point where, like, mixed by Gabriel, like plaquing and all this shit. Like, I had no idea, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, when I went to school, I was not ever like, oh my God, I'm gonna be that mixing guy in New York. Like, did it? Like, this was not part of the plan, y'all. I just went with what I went with, and it worked, bitch. No, I'm just joking. Let me stop. But
Nah,
no, no,
talking shit.
no. But
This is crown talk for a reason.
yeah, it's crown talk. Hey, it's crown. But nah. So basically, I'm just gonna be blatantly honest. There's so many people that I personally know, and so many people in general that can make beats and who consider themselves producers or that are good at making beats. None of that shit matters to me. Me and you have talked about this a whole bunch of times. Um, Bro, at the end of the day, all a beat is just a piece of instrumental or a composition sitting on your hard drive, not doing shit. None of that matters. What matters is relationships and doing the groundwork, like you said. I literally, like, making beats. I just, like, later on in life, it took me a while to figure this out, but bro, making beats doesn't matter. Like, that's not the fine line that's gonna dictate you blowing up or not at all. As a matter of fact, yeah, you got to be good. I'm not saying you don't got to be talented or practice your shit. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying those motherfuckers would be like, yeah, I'm gonna make 10 beats a day and just be making beats. Like, bruh, none of that matters. Go outside, meet an A&R, make a connection, tell an artist to pull up to the studio, don't charge him, see if he fucks with your beats. Is he signed to a label? Give it to him for free. Know that in the back of your head, you got 50% of that master, right? So give it to him for free. Don't say nothing about pricing, and then come for his ass later. A lot of what I've been able to do and accomplish has been because of the people that I've surrounded myself with, like lawyers and certain people that have been able to get me on the right path in my business. I've made mistakes. I've done the wrong things, signed contracts I shouldn't have, but it's all in a learning experience. And that's why we're having these talks, so that I can, like, tell people, have a lawyer look at anything you sign, like, period. Like, never sign anything ever.
Can we touch on some of those experiences, those hard experiences, that you may have experienced and had to overcome and learn from, in the process. So, because I know, I talk to kids all the time, and they're like, so and so sent me a contract, so and so wants to sign me, so and so wants to do this type of deal with me and stuff like that. And I always tell these kids, like, yo, don't, whatever you do, don't rush. Don't think that you gotta hurry up and rush into signing something, or
Oh, don't
agreeing.
make you think that too.
It will.
I got in the email, I've got in the text. Oh, yeah. Oh, if you could just sign it so that we can drop it tomorrow or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like, oh, yeah, we have this lined up, like this interview, and we want to talk about the song. So can you sign it? Like, now?
Mhm.
Like, they'll make you feel pressured. But at the end of the day, like, you got to understand, like, a lot of people don't understand this. realistically, you have to take, like Jay said, take time, sit back and reflect on this, right? Really think about it. If this person really was interested in what you're providing or what you worked really hard at, why would they be rushing you or forcing you to do something like that?
Mhm.
Wouldn't they want to negotiate and talk things out and make you comfortable and like work with you and build with you, right? Logically. So they wouldn't charge you to come meet them. Like, oh yeah, we want to sign you to a label, buy your ticket out here and pay everything to come meet us. That makes no sense, first of all. Anyone who's like asking you for something and making it seem like they're giving you opportunity is not an opportunity. That's just someone trying to scam you, pretty much. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
yeah.
that's the first red flag, is like anyone who's asking for things from you before you even get to meeting them or knowing them really, like that's a flag, bro. They don't really, or they're not interested, bro. They're just trying to come up.
Mhm.
But I would say just flatline. The biggest thing, bro, is like, there's a lot of intricacies of labels, but just know that there's something called a production deck. All right, I'm about to drop some gems for y'all.
Break that
There's
break
something called a
let's do it.
production deck, right? Which is basically like the label's way of saying fuck you to a producer, right? And what they do is they send that to producers that aren't that known yet or that they don't think has a lawyer. And they get them to sign that shit. And a production deck is basically, hey, Gabe, we can do whatever we want with this, right? Like anything. And we have all the rights to do whatever the fuck we want. And you don't have this, it's not yours no more. Like basically everything that it shouldn't be, it is. And if you sign that, it's literally called a production deck. And literally if you tell if you hit up a lawyer and be like, yo, I signed this contract. The first thing, if you're a producer, the first thing they'll say is, I hope it wasn't a production deck, right? Like you didn't sign a production deck. This is like a known thing. A production deck is like a fuck you over contract situation. But yeah, one time in my career I signed one. So I learned the hard way, man. But that being said, there was one contract I didn't sign in this whole thing that because I didn't sign it, my lawyer was able to come back and fuck them over later down the line. So
Okay.
yeah, man, just keep in mind that like there is a lot of legalities and loopholes, and potentially your lawyer or whoever, if they're good at what they do, can find those and request money, or come for them. So
Let's touch on that for a second. In terms of like finding when building a team around you as a creative, as an engineer, as an artist, because every role in this industry needs that type of team around them. Correct?
for
You need
sure.
now, if in your opinion, what, because this has been debates for a long time. In your opinion, what is the most important piece of building that team around you that you should have? Is it an entertainment lawyer? Is it an artist manager? Is what get break that down? In your point of view, what do you feel is the way that you should go about building the team, and what pieces that you do need more than others to have?
All right. Yeah. So my thing that a lot of people think is people have this weird concept in their mind that there's someone on people's teams that like specifically get opportunities for them. And I'm here to tell you that unless you're on a label and you've already done the hard work and basically made a fan base for yourself, that's not a thing. Meaning managers don't get you opportunities. Managers don't get you shows and shit like that. Managers don't get you like features by big artists. Like that's not a thing they do. And people have this concept that like, oh, a manager helps me with this and that. And it's like, no, managers overlook and oversee everything and make sure you're good and organized and shit. That's a manager. And there could be a day-to-day manager. There could be a business manager that would be more on the finances and shit. But there is no managers like legitimately getting you all your opportunities and looks as an artist. Like that's not a thing. You guys need to understand that all these labels have the exact same people. Russ talks about this shit all the time. There's this guy at Apple, there's this guy at Spotify, there's this PR team, there's this marketing agency. If you get to know them and build your fan base and all that, you don't really need shit else. The only thing you need is an entertainment lawyer, bruh. And then obviously people, maybe a manager once you get to that level of needing things managed. But if you're not making $50K a year on music, what is there to manage really? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that hectic. You know what I'm
So
saying?
so when would you advise a artist or anyone in that? When is the perfect time to say, okay, I should look for I could use an entertainment lawyer? Like if you have 50 followers on Instagram, but all of a sudden you got someone knocking at your door, like, oh, hey man, I love your production or I like your songwriting and stuff like that. I want to sign you to a development deal or something like that. Is that a time to go get a lawyer?
Um, I mean, at the end of the day, we can all be like realistic and true to ourselves. And 9 times out of I just think a lot of people have this pipe dream of like people hit the jackpot and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like realistic, if you really sat down and thought, like, I have 50 followers. I have 2 songs out. I've been doing this a year. The fuck is someone reaching out to me for? Like, really think about it, bro. Like, I feel like people don't have that comments like they have that jackpot mentality where they're like, oh, I must have hit it big. This must be the one case in all of the past 50 years where this happened. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they think they're gonna like hit it quick rich or whatever. That's not a thing. So if someone DMs you and you don't have, just be true to yourself. Have you really been doing it that long? If you haven't put 5 to 10 years in this, why are you expecting a hit up right now? But my suggestion is if you actually have movement and it's a real thing, yeah, reach out to an entertainment lawyer. I connect people all the time with entertainment lawyers because I just don't want people to, go down the same path as me as far as signing things without knowing any better. So,
How
I
do you
think.
how do you how do you how do you
But my
how
bad to interrupt you. One thing I was gonna add: when I say don't have a manager unless you make 50K or 100K, I'm not saying don't make it seem like you don't have a manager. Meaning, create. This is a big gem. I did this for years. Everyone can use this. Feel free. Third Eye Sound Management at gmail.com with a different name, meaning like it will say like it'll be like Paul Doberman or some shit. It'll have like a different name on it. So you think it's my management team, it's really just me. So having someone who's not you communicating with other artists or people you're doing features with looks better. And definitely 180% will make the creative experience go better because they think they're talking to your manager and you can kind of be a dick. Like, yo, I need this money or whatever it is. And they're not going to be mad at you. You need to keep that creative relationship afloat. So everyone in here, I'm not telling you not to have some sort of barrier between that because you always need that. I'm saying that you don't actually need a manager, meaning someone that's like actually like what does he need to manage? Like, do you have 5 concerts in the next 2 weeks? Do you have a podcast, an interview? Like, what are we managing? You got to be realistic because you got to think. At the end of the day, he's going to get 15 to 20%. You know what I mean? So does it really make sense at that step, at that level? Just think about it logically, But I'd suggest that everyone should have a fake management email. I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to a producer or engineer, starting to get clients, you go from not having 1 or 2 to all of a sudden you got people that's starting to knock at your door more. Is it necessary, do to always take everything that comes through the door, or or is there room to pick and choose who you decide to work with, or is there a certain time that you have to evaluate your process of saying, okay, now I can choose to not work with certain people or certain types of artists that give me this headache or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Oh,
How do you go
100%.
about
I
your
mean,
process?
that's
How do you go about your process? When do you want to decide or get to a place of saying, I at this point I think I'm choosing to be more selective with the type of people I work with.
honestly and truly, I'd say that only started realistically happening for me the past 3 years. So I've been doing this very seriously for the past 8 years. So I'd say it took 5 years of pretty much having to accept most work, most everything that came through the door. I had to accept. I just had to accept it. This is all I did. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no part-time job for a lot of this career, so there was no other option but to take that shit. But that being said, the past 3 years, man, There are so many things that I'll say no to be honest with you. I'm good on, I get the concept of like, people having demo-itis and like people wanting specific sounds for their music and shit. I totally respect and I understand that.
What
But
was that word you used?
demo-itis?
Break that down.
Oh, demo-itis is when you listen to a demo version. Demo meaning it's not done, but you feel the need to listen to it 18 million trillion times to the point where you think that that's how it should sound or needs to sound because you don't know any better. So you come to a professional and you basically screw up the whole process because you're so stuck on that sound. That's literally what it is. You're just stuck on a sound that really there's no validation as to why you think it's so good. It's just really you just been stuck on it, listening to it all the time. It's not like a fucking A&R came up and was like, yo, you need it to sound this way or else you're not getting signed. Like, no one said that. You just have this like I said, you just don't know any better and you're used to it that way. So anything that differs, your ears get thrown off and you think it's wrong, but it's really not wrong. You're just not used to it. So yeah, that's what demo-itis is. But basically in the past 3 years, man, I respect and I understand you just want someone to mix your song, but you want it to be like all these different specifics about it. Like I need my vocal to sound like this and I need this plugin and da-da-da. I respect that and I understand that, but I might not be the best fit for that because what I do is I respect and I really uphold my creativity and my artistic creativity as a mixing engineer. And I want people to come to me because I am a tastemaker. That's what I am. I'm a tastemaker. What that means is I make it into a record. I don't want you to come and tell me what you need your mix to sound like, bruh. You can literally just go to someone just starting out and just coach them and puppet them. I'm not that guy. I've been doing it 8 years. I've formed a foundation of a very low-end mixing style that is my style and my sound and how I treat things. So that's what you come to me for. You know what I'm saying? And sticking to that is what causes people to respect you and makes you a name in the game as a tastemaker. Like, oh yeah, Gabe's that dude who be like, fuck your rough mix. You know what I'm saying? But not being real, bro. That's like you going to a producer and telling him to make a DJ Mustard beat and he's not DJ Mustard. Like, why would you hit him up for that? That's not his sound. That's not what he does. It's honestly like, yeah, I just feel like a lot of people want like, what is it called? Like a fucking microwavable mix. And I'm not for that, bro. Like, I'm not here to just do a quick 1-2 and put a limiter on it and put my name on it. Like, we could do that, but I'm not going to put my name on it. I'm just going to be like, yeah, bro, like, it's just, it detaches from mixing engineers are artists at the end of the day. And a lot of people just don't realize that and understand that people come to people for sounds, bruh. Chris Lord-Alge is the one who created the Rolling Stones and the Green Day sound and the alternative rock shit. All that shit came from him. He crafted that sonically. You know what I'm saying? Alex Toomey, he crafted Young Thug. He crafted Atlanta. He crafted Auto-Tune. People don't know this. People don't talk about this. I'm here to talk about this shit. It's the truth, man. We've paved the way for sonics, for sounds and genres. And that's why people go to those engineers. And that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to like, basically just mix the way you want me to mix. Like, I'm here to be a staple in the industry, you know?
How does one know, in your opinion, is there wrongs and rights of mixing in the sense of EQ before compression or compression before EQ, or what's is there there's rule of thumbs, there's we've heard different rule of thumbs, but in your opinion, is there a wrong way to mix, or is it more of this is my style of mixing compared to the next engineer's style of mixing?
I mean, I feel like there is a big open space for basically doing whatever you want, and there is no rules. But there's also a very fine line of like, all right, everything's hitting red and everything's distorted. I'm probably mixing it crappy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, not for real though. So, like, all I'm saying is like, there's a big open space, meaning, bro, you can EQ, compress, put 18 million compressors, and it could be the most fire mix ever. I don't fucking know. If it sounds good, it is good. But there are common, like, regular fouls. Like, bro, everything should not be clipping.
Mm-hmm.
That's a foul. Like, everyone knows that. But as far as, like, you need this reverb, or you have to do it this way, or, like, make it this loud, or this RMS, no. That's how genres get created. That's how fusions get created. That's how there's an anomalies in music. And that's why there's songs that stick out weird, because there's anomalies, meaning a mixing engineer did something different and now it sticks out. So I think that's part of this. All this shit is subjective at the end of the day. So what I might like for a mix, someone else might. I mean, that's why I said, like, I'm in this to be a tastemaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in this to legitimately be the person that dictates the sound of a record, the sonics of it. So that's basically what I mean when I say.
So cook it up, you know, like you went, you did lounge, you did quad, you did lounge, and then you kind of arrived to a space where it's like, okay, boom, I'm venturing out and elaborate and expanding into my own space, and then boom, here comes Cook It Up Studios. So talk about your process of getting to that point where it's like, okay, I think I'm ready to really open up my own space, and just going through the process of creating your own structured studio and business and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, in between lounge and Cook It Up, there was a long line of me trying to find other Cook It Ups, basically. You know what I'm saying? We had Treble Sound Entertainment, which I'm sure you remember, Lit Life Studios or whatever. Tried to become the owner there, or studio manager, whatever, just like an upper person. Didn't work.
Yeah.
They didn't have the same vision as me. I've done that at IMI Studios. I've worked at Blast Off Studios. I've done a couple sessions and got like certified at Engine Room Studio. Like, I've been around the block. I've pretty much been to most studios, freelancing in some regard, trying to make relationships with owners. And the thing I've realized is, just to be honest, the majority of studio owners, especially in New York City, aren't actually engineers or music people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Meaning, like, a lot of them are just investors. They just have money. So, like, me explaining to them why they need to get a new piece of gear, or me explaining to them what we need to do as far as like music or like catering to artists doesn't apply. They're businessmen, right? So there was always a disconnect between me and the owners. They had a different, like, my vision is passion over money. You know what I'm saying? I want to do this shit the right way. Money will come if you do it the right way. That was my opinion and my way of thinking. Their way of thinking was like business, business, business. You know what I'm saying? We got to do this the right way from the jump. You know, like, we don't want to do right by people first, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you see it for yourself, bro. I mean, you know the vibes, bro. Look at all the horrible internship experiences people have, bro. Like, look at the horrible horror stories. What do you think that comes from? You think that comes from good business running? No, bro. People shouldn't be treated like that, bro. You think people, like, are gonna say good things about those experiences later on in life and, like, talk highly of that studio? No. They're gonna be like, it was a traumatic ass horrible experience. Like, I would never do that again. You know, they treated me horribly. So yeah, so all that happened for me to get to Cook It Up Studios. And one piece of advice I'll give to all producers and engineers is that you should find one space to work at. Reason being, your mixes, your beats, everything is streamlined, and you have the same sound every time now. I've been able to level up my mixes and my production beyond anything I ever have because I don't work in any other space. People ask me to come to their spaces. There's no reason I would do that. Reason being, you're literally paying me to come out the space that I get crazy mixes to go to a space that I don't get crazy mixes at, to give you a subpar mix for a super expensive price. Why would I do that? If anything, I'm trying to help you and telling you to come where the mix is going to be immaculate because I got this shit dialed in here. But a lot of people, you know, have their little, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people just don't care about quality, so it just goes over their head when I say that. But it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Why would I use Yamaha speakers for my mixing if I use Dyne Audio every day for the past 3 years straight? It makes no sense. Wouldn't it sound bad, or I don't know what I'm hearing right, or wouldn't it just not work? I don't know.
Right. Right.
But so basically I found Cook It Up Studios, and the owner Nosh had a lot. He's an engineer and producer, and he had a lot of the same mentalities as me, where we wanted to create basically an environment that allows for us to give high level, high quality mixes and masters and recordings to labels and independent artists at a good rate that's competitive against the quads and the engine rooms. That's why we're located in downtown Brooklyn, because we have a cheaper rent than most studios. So we're able to get away with charging $70 an hour for just recording and a rough mix with the same vocal chain that most of those studios would be using. So I'm using, a $6,000 mic going into a $3,000 preamp, going into two different $3,000, $4,000 compressors into a mastering converter, and then going into the system. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a reason why our shit stands out, because of the price and because of what I'm giving for the price. No one's really, in my opinion, there's one studio I can think of. Actually, no, they don't even count. They don't even, there's no studios I can think of that charge $70 an hour that has the same or close to the same vocal chain as us. And keep in mind, we have multiple vocal chains. So I have 3 different mics. I don't just have one. And that's all for $70 an hour,
How were you able to identify, or get to the place where it's saying, okay, boom, this is what we're using? Did you have to buy the equipment and then just like would you just see it and it's like, well, it says this and this about it, we're just gonna go ahead and run with that, and then you have the equipment and then it's like, fuck it, we got it now, so we gotta make a sound out of it? Or did you get the luxury and opportunity to try a lot of different things? Because especially some of the new gears that you have and stuff like that. And I want you to touch on some of your favorite gears, at least, especially the type of outboard equipment that as an engineer, you love to use. But was it easy to get to a place of saying, okay, boom, these are the things we want to use? Or did you just try the other different things, pick them up, and then it's like, we have them, we got to make this work?
Right. So basically what happened was, so the reason why me and Nosh work so well is like me and him balance each other out. Meaning I bring a lot to the table and he brings a lot to the table. Nosh is a crazy gearhead and an equipment geek and nerd. So a lot of things and decisions were made before I even got there. And then, like, for example, we had the Manly. The Manly's been there. A lot of the other things have been replaced and switched out, and I was a part of that. But like the Manly's been there, and I've used the Manly before, and I knew it was an immaculate mic. But the reason why we balance each other out is because like he's really good with equipment and hardware. He's really good with mastering. I'm really good with mixing. I'm really good with beats. He's really good with he's really good with production as well. And he's also like I'm super savvy with branding and like marketing online and like getting our brand out there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he's just a good people person in general. He's great at like communicating with people and talking with people, having conversations. Just a great dude. And basically, I came there and we had a U87. We changed the U87 out to a Latin Audio FC386 because the U87, in my opinion and his opinion, doesn't sound that good when you have a small recording space. And I just feel like U87s are overhyped anyways. I'm just gonna be real honest. Like, unless it's a vintage U87, which no one has. All they are using fucking U87 AIs, which are horrible. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm just totally against the Neumann wave, because I just feel like people just get it because people think they should and not even like listening to how it sounds type shit. Like, oh, it's Neumann,
Like,
so it's gonna sound good.
Well, this is what we use. This is what the studios use. So this is what we gotta use.
Instead of being like, but does it sound good on my voice though? I just don't like that concept. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have you like hear it first and then be like, oh, maybe something else, or yeah, this works. But yeah, so basically we switched out the U87 for the Latin Audio. I bought the Sony mic. I bring that to the studio. We see he's like a real gearhead, bro. He'll just switch shit out. Like when I first got there, we had a de-esser, like a hardware de-esser for the vocal chain, and we had a 1176 compressor for the vocal chain. We switched that out. We got the mag EQs. We switched out for 2 stereo mag EQs. Like we just switch out a lot. Like we used to have, literally, bro. We used to have when I first got there, he had the new Mew, manly new Mew, whatever the fuck that is. He had like 3 different manly compressors, like for mastering. Basically, all I'm saying is this man's a freak. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll just like buy shit and switch it out and swap it. So because I work with him, I get the beautiful ability to test these pieces of gear out and see what they sound like in between them. So the best gear I've ever heard in my life, there's two pieces of gear. The SSL Fusion, which I still have, and the Manly Massive Passive are the best pieces of gear for mixing and mastering I've ever heard in my life, for sure.
Okay.
And the Manly Massive Passive is like $20,000, so we had to send that back.
How would you describe the sound of the manly of these 2 gears?
I mean, the Manly Massive Passive is just like all things godly you could imagine with the EQ. Like every single EQ on it has a tube, so it's super air. Like the high end is super airy, the low end is super warm and punchy. Like it's literally like one of those don't turn a knob and turn it on and just run it through it. Like and it's just like what the fuck. Like I haven't turned a knob yet. Once I turn a knob, it's even crazier. But literally, bro, it has like, that's why it's so expensive. It has like literally like 12 tubes in it, bro. 12. Like there is no pieces of gear that have that many pieces of transformers and tubes in it and shit. That's why it sounds like that, you know? But that's why it's like a super high level mastering EQ. Like people use that for mastering. That's not like it's not just like a regular thing people use. That's like super high level. That's like next. You're not gonna see that everywhere. I mean, it's $20,000, bro. You're not gonna see that.
That's a car.
Yeah, you're not gonna just see that shit.
And what about the other one? Describe the other one.
Oh, the SSL Fusion. That's my baby. It basically has 4 different modules. It's called an analog stereo piece of gear, basically. So basically, what it does is you have an input trim and an output trim, so you can control how heavy your mix is going into. It's basically for mixes and masters. You can use it on anything, though, to be honest. I've used it on drums, on background buses. I want to get another one. That's how good they are. So basically, you have the input trim controlling how like loud it's going into the unit, and then you have a vintage drive, which is literally like, it's basically like, imagine if you were like running your song through like an analog piece of equipment that was pushed a little too hard. So it's kind of like clipping, but in a good way. Because with analog, you can push hard and it sounds good a lot of times. Like what it does is it rounds off the mid-range and the peaks. So things are more harsh these days than they were ever. That's why everyone uses de-essers, 18 of them. Because we're in the digital domain. In the analog domain, the shit was rounded off the top. A lot of people don't know that and talk about that. But that's basically what the vintage drive does. It rolls off the top and kind of makes it crunchy, but like in a pleasing way. It makes it crunchy. I don't use that much. That's for rock or like boom bap. I'll use that for like rock or boom bap. Just because it adds this grit, dirty vibe that if I'm like doing pop or something clean, I don't really want that. Then after that is the GOAT, which is the Violet EQ. Okay. And that is 2 shelf EQs. It's called the Violet EQ. It's 2 shelves. You got the high shelf and the low shelf. And you can switch it from 30 hertz, 50 hertz, 70 hertz, or 90. And the high shelf is 8K, 12K, 16K, and 20K. And this is the little secret right here. I'm going to give you all the secret sauce because I've been using it for so long. What you do is you get that high-end shelf and you go to 20K or 16K and you boost the fuck out of 20K or 16K. Like when I say the fuck, like more than you think you should. Like I'm talking like 7 dB of a boost or like 8 dB, right? This is the trick. Because after that Violet EQ, there's a de-esser. And with the de-esser, master, I control how, because I just wild out with the EQ. So right after it goes into a de-esser and I control that EQ. So now I'm knocking down all that wild shit I did, but it still opens up the top of the song in a mastering way. Like, just beautifully opens up the top end. Like, I can hear the vocals better. Everything is just bright and open. And it just makes it sound like the top, literally, it feels like the top of the song opens up. Like, literally, like that. Like, you had something over top of it. It goes like that. Then I get the high frequency, like, de-esser thing, and it just, like, kind of just shoots it down when it's too much, right? It's just controlling it. Then after that, I got the stereo widener joint. And that's the last step. And that basically just lets me, like, bro, when I say it spreads my reverbs and my echo, like, everything just, like, imagine if everything but the vocal goes spread. Shit is so fire, bro. Like, literally, like, all your effects and all the sounds will just go to the side out of nowhere. Vocals still in the middle. Shit is crazy. Like, you could just, whoop, and it's just like, whoop, and it just opens. So, yeah. SSL, I need that sponsorship because I just gave y'all like
major big ups. Shout out SSL. Somebody tag SSL because they definitely need to get my man a sponsorship on that one.
Another SSL. Fuck you mean?
Yo, so you know, you talk, you know, something about some of your favorite gear. I imagine, you know, some of these have been in these processes of you know, making you the Billboard chart engineer that you are. You know, at this point in time, do want to touch on that, man, because you know you are officially that it's like Grammy, or you know what I mean. It's like at this point it goes before the title of the name. It's like Billboard charting producer and engineer. It's by Gabriel.
Dot.
What was, first of all, how many times have you charted now?
Twice.
Okay.
I charted once on the Billboard, and then I charted once on iTunes. The top, because iTunes has charts. So I charted on the iTunes Latin charts. So, for example, like every genre has charts. iTunes is one of the biggest charts because it's just like, you know, iTunes, if we're just being honest, iTunes is one of the biggest platforms for music in general. So they have a really good established charting system because you have to remember, on iTunes, people still buy albums and singles, right? So
how does that work?
Charting,
How does that work? Like, elaborate on that process.
Oh, yeah. So basically, I'm giving, if people aren't taking notes, they're tripping. I'm giving y'all the gems. Basically, because everyone counts on streams now, when you go the route of having real fans that buy iTunes albums, you cheat the system and you need way less purchases compared to streams. I could get 50 album sales and that would make me look like 500,000, 700K streams off the break, bruh. Just because no one's doing that, and that's actual investing, bro. You got to keep in mind, one stream on one platform is 0.00001. How many of those does it take to equal $20 for the album, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know the math off the top, but I know it's a shit ton of streams that equals $20.
It's a lot.
You know what I'm saying? If it's 0.0001, it's a lot of fucking streams to get $20.
Right.
So you kind of keep the system by sending iTunes albums like for people to purchase. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, the dude I charted with the Latin charts, he works with a lot of people in Latin countries. And a lot of people in Latin countries, a lot of people don't know, they still buy iTunes albums and shit like they're still on that shit, like buying singles and shit. Like they have the, you know, like the Apple library and or the iTunes library and shit. Like they still buy stuff and put it in there. Like they're still on that wave. So by default, because he's has a lot of fans in Mexico and stuff, that's how they buy their music and that's how they invest in stuff they like. So, you know, and a lot of people don't realize, like, you have that shit forever in your like, you can put it on anything too.
You own
it. Like I can put it on my phone, I can put it on my MP, I can put it on my iPod. Like people forget about those days, but those are still like that's still a thing. So
you had to buy it when you buy that album. Right.
Yeah, it's a cheat code. So it's like, for example, the reason why he charted was not because of the streams. Like we did 100K streams in the first couple of days on like Spotify. I don't know about the other ones, but it wasn't like wild. It wasn't like million. But bro, he sold like 60, 70, 80 album units in the first day. And then the next day he sold another 40 or 50 units. Like that looks wild lit to the charts. You know what I'm saying? Especially for an independent person. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of boosted him. Like he literally beat Shakira, bro. We beat Shakira on the charts. Like Shakira on the charts. Like we got to number 17, she was number 20. So yeah, all I'm saying is like there's three things I would say for Billboard charting and iTunes charting. One, focus on album sales and single sales on iTunes. Push that instead of Spotify streams. Make that your focus. Two, when I Billboard charted, the person who I did the Billboard charting with, the reason why he charted, it's very simple. You get on every blog and you put probably 30K into all your marketing and get a shit ton of people looking at it. And then he did the same thing other dude did, to be honest with you. A lot of people don't forget about Bandcamp. Bandcamp, you can buy albums too. And he had his shit on Bandcamp. And he pushed a lot of people to Bandcamp. So he kind of did the same thing, but he got his shit on every blog, bro. When I say every blog, Elevator, XXL Mag, fucking Hip Hop Weekly, all that shit, bro. He was on every like website, literally. So, and keep in mind, a lot of y'all don't know there's charts that y'all don't know about. Do your due diligence, do your research. I guarantee, like, bro, I have to weekly go and check things I've worked on because there's so many fucking charts. Y'all have no idea how many charts there are. Like, no idea. Like, no idea. There's like Billboard's Heat Seekers chart. That's literally for independent artists. That means that anyone who's on that doesn't have to compete with label artists. So it's kind of a cheat code for y'all independent artists. You can get on the Billboard Heat Seekers Billboard chart. That's what I charted on because he's independent. So he was able to chart on it easier than going against a label artist because they have, you know, $1 million behind them, you know? So those are a couple things that y'all can do on your own time and on your own nickel dime that could potentially boost you to a place where you can get on the charts. Like, there's so many charts that you could get on one of them is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You just got to figure out the one you want to do, get your eye on that and talk to people and figure out the strategy you want to implement to boost that up. But also another thing is realize who drops on what date and why they do that. My homie dropped on a date where no other Latin artists dropped. You think that wasn't by coincidence? Think about that. A lot of this shit is just playing the game right, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. And then a lot of people won't tell you that, but it's the truth. A lot of this shit is just playing your cards right and doing your due diligence and seeing what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Couple things I want to touch on before we get out of here. You've done a lot with your career at this point, and you've now taken a further step to expand into getting involved with this platform, Music Vitamins. How do you, first of all, what goes into your thought process? Some of the things that you analyze when it comes into deciding this is a great person to because you've had a successful track record at this point of picking some very strategic business partners, you know, and business partnering situations. What is your, what are some of the things that goes into your thought process when it comes to deciding like who makes for a good business partner? These are the pros and cons that I pull from this, and this is a good investment to get into this industry, or this where I want to open this studio or get involved with this platform or such and such. How did you get it to, what were some of the decisions that went into making the decision, arriving to the place where here you are now working with the Music Vitamins platform? And also, can you elaborate and explain what exactly is the Music Vitamins platform for those who don't know?
Sure. So basically, Music Vitamins is think of a combination between like a talk show, like a Jon Stewart, like daily talk show vibe mixed with like a Shark Tank vibe. So basically we talk about a lot of like technology and music updates and industry things such as that. Like maybe we talk about AI for the first 20 to 25 to 30 minutes. And we touch on things like that. And then we do a case study where basically I have, you know, my business partner, Matei, who's like, you know, a crazy marketing genie and fucking business guru. He fucking basically breaks down basically people's careers and how they were able to become successful and what they did and what steps they took. So basically analyzing careers step by step and breaking down what they did. Then from there, we go into an industry panel where we bring on A&Rs and people, movers and shakers in the industry, whether that's DJs, music, artist managers, A&Rs, fucking chief execs at fucking Warner. I mean, we've had some, I'm not gonna lie, some people I didn't even think was gonna get on, like top tops, like people that I'm like, whoa. So basically that's the concept, and we have a showcase in between the panel, basically stopping the panel and doing an artist every 30 minutes on and off. And the reason we do that is because a lot of times the panelists are so busy that they can't stick around after. So like doing the after showcase, like after the panel showcase doesn't work because they have, like, these are like label execs, like they have things to do. So yeah, so we stop and we basically do the showcase so that the artist gets to get feedback from the A&Rs. Because that's the most valuable thing. So basically what they do is they get a minute to pitch their brand, like Shark Tank. And the reason why we did that and we thought that was cool is just because it switches it up and it's different. You don't see that any showcase. I'm putting you on the spot and I'm getting you to treat yourself like a business and think of yourself like a business, as you should. And a lot of people won't say that or do things like that, and we are. Like, nah, motherfucker, you have a minute to pitch your brand, sell me, and don't be like, I got bars. Don't be like that. Like, give me like a real spiel on why I should invest in you. Think of it like that. Like, think of it like we're investors and you got to convince us to give you 100K. Like, what would you say? And I feel like that brings a certain thing out of a lot of people, you know? So that being said, the way that I truly find people to be in business with is, first and foremost, good, going back to, you know, the way my mom raised me and all that we talked at the beginning, people that are genuine and trustworthy and honest, loving people. That's where it first stems from. To be honest, like, I'm not gonna be in business with anyone that I don't feel is a loving, kind person. You know what I'm saying? Who's understanding. Like, just in general, just a good person. Like, plain period, just a good person. Like, if you're not, I don't see it working. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first thing. The second thing is to be real honest with you and transparent. And the majority of people I go into business with are mentors of mine, are people that I look up in some capacity. Meaning, like, I look up to Nosh when it comes to mastering and shit. He does mastering crazy. And I look up to him in it. And I ask him for advice. And he does shit with me with mixing or production. And we help each other out. Like, that's the type of rapport I have with him. And so with Matei too. Matei asked me a lot of stuff about, like, creative side and, like, you know, all the things that I'm doing as far as production and working with artists and shit and, like, the creative shit. And he gives me advice on business and how to build businesses. Like, this is someone that is a super mentor of mine, bro. Like, this is someone who, like, I look up to in so many capacities, bro. This is someone who his job it is. Like, a lot of people don't understand how deep this shit is. This man's job is a serial entrepreneur. If some people on here don't know what that means, I'm gonna break it down. A serial entrepreneur is someone who creates. This is about to sound crazy. Wow. He's about to be Gary V. I'm telling y'all now. He's Gary V. Fucking serial entrepreneur is someone who creates systems and systems like infrastructures to systems to companies and then sells that concept. Meaning, I'll give you an example. Music vitamins. The whole point of music vitamins is to make it a streamlined system, right? To capture it and make it a podcast and make it streamlined, to make it an infrastructure of a system to sell to someone. Everything Matei does is to make it to give to someone later in life. Everything. So he wants to get it so it's so streamlined and everything is so fun. Like, you have the employees, you have everything dialed in. You know how to drop on what dates to drop. Everything's dialed in. then you get people to buy it or investors down the road.
Mhm.
That's what he does, bro. He literally just makes a solar business, a solar energy business, flips it, sells it, does another business, flips it, sells it. Like, that's why he's lit, bro. That's why he's a mentor. You know what I'm saying? That's why anytime I can talk to him and just pick his brains, bro, I'm all there, bro. Because
Yeah.
it's like next level shit. It's like Google shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
tech fucking next. You already know, bro.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah,
money
nah.
bracket shit that a lot of people don't get to rub their shoulders with. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, so like it's definitely something to take into account. You know, when you so basically you're looking at that, you're breaking down a value um that that your business partners really can be able to pour into you, and in order, you know, that helps you grow in the process and give you things, you know, things to learn from, because it sounds like
100%, bro.
you're able to learn from
It's
both
like
of your
we're both finding each other and balancing each other out and feeding energy into one another to build each other up towards greatness.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not like that, I just don't see why you would be in the business partnership with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be yin and yang. You know what I mean? Like, he does this, I do that. Like, good cop, bad cop. Like, that's
Yeah.
how me and Nasha are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he be super nice to people sometimes, and I'd be like, nah, bro, you gotta pay 80. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, nah, I'm serious though. Like, that's how it is. But that's beautiful. That's a beautiful. It's good to have that counterbalance in that person
No.
and that partner. You
Yeah.
know, because
Nah.
I can't be everything all the time, and I need someone to help.
Right. Um. Nah. I'm glad we touched on that, because I wanted people to be able to just kind of see, you know, have a good perspective of, you know, when they're moving forward in their career, how these are things that, you know, you should take into consideration in terms of helping you to move forward when you're thinking about people who make for potential business partners, or not even just business partners, you know what I mean, but like band members, just strategic alliance in general, and how you go, and how you know, how you go about choosing, you know, those people that you align with. Speaking of alignment, a couple things that, you know, I got a couple last questions that I want to ask you, and this really boils down to the highlights of do's and don'ts on the list of Mixed by Gabriel, you know, when it comes to dealing with artists and studios, in
Okay.
the studio environment, studio etiquette, studio experiences, some things that you know, artists need to know and understand when it comes to working with an engineer, let alone working into, you know, coming into the studio environment. Things that you know that you like that artists do, and things that you don't like that artists don't like that artists do. You know, what are some key do's and don'ts that you can give to, you know, the audience and anybody who tunes into this later, to so they, you know, these are things that will help them along their way when they go into, you know, further in their career, working, finding a great engineer to work with, or producer, or studio in general. Things that they need
Yeah,
to
for
know.
sure. I mean, there's lots, to be honest. I mean,
Top 10. Running the
top 10.
top
Run
10.
the list. Run the list. All right. First and foremost, don't bark at the person that you're paying to do the service, whether it's a producer or engineer. Be aware that tones are real, whether you had a bad day or not. There's no reason to, like, you know, give bad energy to the person that you're paying for the service. They're not your dog. They're not your servant. There's no need to yell at them aggressively to punch you in, good sir. I know you're a rapper and you want to be cool, but we can hear you just fine on these speakers in the control room. But that's one. Just like chill out, bro. Take a breath. It's gonna be all right. Okay, I'm gonna record you as I always do. It's fine. Number two would be come prepared. Come prepared and know what the plan is. Don't just like yeah, just start, just come in. Yo, what's good, bro? You know what I'm saying? Yo, you got that beat? Yeah, play that beat. I'm just gonna listen to it. That's not it. That's not it. Next joint. Like, and then we're just like lollygagging for no reason. Come in with like a dedicated plan. Know what you're gonna do. have it like very fine lined as to like what the outline is to the session. Because I'm gonna be honest, people that are like very like I've had someone send me a fucking session outline before, bruh. And that shit was so dope and so fire because I never see it. I was like, bro, this is lit. Like he was like arriving at this time. He was like first thing I do when I step in. I was like, yo, this is lit. Like organization just makes you look more professional. It makes me take you serious, and it makes me get in my zone and in my bag. So, you know, we can really be a machine and process these records crazy like we need to. At the end of the day, like everyone needs to be doing the right thing in order for it to move correctly. So if you're doing your thing, I can do mine 10 times better. Another thing, stop bringing random people to the studio. Makes no sense. Please stop doing it. For the 18th millionth time. Look, I know you got the homies up the block who don't got shit to do, and so you invite them, but like, bro, they can hang out after. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, we don't need the what is it called? The gallery in the back. We don't need that.
The super entourage.
Yeah, we don't, but it'd be like people that have nothing to do with music, and then everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
And the thing that gets fucked up about that is like, why the fuck did any of y'all opinions matter? You don't make music. You're not even a fan enough to post your homeboy's music, but yet you're in the session. What the fuck's going on, bro? That was some real shit too.
Yeah.
You don't even post your homeboy shit, but you in here with the session. But
with an opinion.
Right, with an opinion on how it should sound, but you're not supporting.
But you don't make music.
Right.
And you don't support his music. Right.
Yeah, so my thing is just like, I understand that you guys, you know, I'm just going to blatantly say it. A lot of people, you know, I understand they're consumers technically, but if we're just being honest, some consumers' opinion I don't need to hear. Meaning, consumers that listen to drill and distorted music, bro, I don't need to hear what you think is good, bro. I'm sorry, I'm going to just be honest. You know who people I do need to hear? Real music lovers. Real people that listen to Bob Marley, listen to Rolling Stone, the Beatles, listen to Drake, listen to Kendrick. Like they know all of that. They listen to genres, they experience music, they understand it. That's who I want to hear from. I don't need to hear from the dude who only listens to trap drill beats every day. Like I'm just being honest. I don't like, where's the validate? Like if we're trying to chart, why would that matter? Is all I'm saying. Like if we're trying to if we really want to go to the Grammys, why does the dude who's not even listening to Grammy music matter? Damn, we should clip that. Yeah. Why does the person who doesn't listen to Grammy music matter? Clip it. Clip it. Let me think. All right. Another one would be let the engineer mix and stop interrupting him while he's mixing. Yeah. Because it's just annoying, man. I'm going to be honest with you. It's annoying because 9 times out of 10, I was going to do what you were going to tell me, to be honest. And you're really just making yourself waste time because now you're stopping me to tell me what you want that I was going to do.
I'm
going to be
not really knowing how to properly
communicate it. Right. So you might even make me do the wrong thing.
Right.
9 times out of 10. I might end up fucking shit up because you wanted to be a fucking egotistical artist. A lot of times it's, to be honest, a lot of people come in and say things off some ego. It's not like, I can tell it's ego. It's like they just wanted to make me stop the music to like make everyone know that they had something to say. You know what I mean? Like they're just like, yo, we should move that. I'm like, okay. I know you know exactly what I'm saying too. Yeah. They'd be so excited. They'd be like, bro, I got an idea. Stop the music.
And then they'd be like, hey, but bro, why'd you move that? It's like you asked me to move this. I told you if I move this, this is what's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna sound, or this is how it's gonna. Just do that. Okay, and then I move it. You move it. It's like, nah, bro. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that, bro? You
literally just told me.
You're the engineer. You're the engineer,
now, it
right?
Makes you want to just get up and leave out and be like, all right, you got it, fam.
You
got it, bro.
Here's yours.
Yeah, it's all yours, bro. Hey, just don't press the red button, whatever you do.
Do you know how to save?
Right. Whatever you do, don't hit a command Q. Fuck you talking about? About to exit out the whole shit.
Key, yo, artists, please, not trying to throw shade, bro. Like these are very very important baseline, key things to take into account. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah. So I'm not saying all this not to throw shade at artists, but giving you guys a real, true perspective of a genuine, nice person who loves what he does, that has these weird interactions with people. That I'm an energy guy, right? So at the end of the day, like, if I want to build with someone and you want to build a relationship and a rapport with the engineer and the sound and really have him go in with you and uplift you and check in on you and really just care for you, treat him like I'm saying. Like, don't do these weird things. Like, if you were in my shoes, you would feel the same. So just think of it that way. Think how you would feel in my shoes. I do this every day, all the time, every genre. You don't.
Artist after artist.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like there's a time and a place for you to talk and speak up and voice your opinion. There's a time not to. And when I'm in my bag, that's my time to be in my bag to uplift your record and make it sound fucking immaculate. And that's what I do. After that, feel free to, give me things I can tweak and change that you don't like. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to.
Time to work.
Yeah. I'm an artist just like them. And they have to understand that. That's the problem. That's the disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people just automatically see a big ass, like, all this equipment, and they think it's all science and shit. It's really not, bro. I'm really saucing.
Instant
sauce. Instant hit. Like, nah, it's not even like that.
Right.
Another thing that bothers me is, like, people that aren't, like, have a process for yourself, right? Meaning, like, if you want to do a one shot and just record all lead vocals, then come back and do layers, do that. But don't be the person who, like, jumps all over the place all the time, because it gets very confusing.
And then expect a final record to be mixed and mastered and voila, ready to go in the last 20 minutes of your session time.
Yeah, it's not gonna. I mean, first of all, that's a whole nother subject we can talk about. But recording, mixing, and mastering are all completely separate services, y'all. For the last time, recording, space, period. Mixing, space, period. Mastering, all right, y'all? That's how it works. And that's how we're doing it from now on. All right? Back in the day, a lot of these records sound better than y'all records because they had a recording engineer. They had another person who had different ears in a different studio to make it even better and have a different perspective. Boom. Now it's even better. Now the last person has another perspective. Now you got 3 sets of fucking ears on one song. That's why those records will always sound better than someone who just has one ear. It's just like, 2 minds are better than one. They'll always be better than one. If me and Jay had a song, like me and him got a song to work on together and mix it and produce it or whatever, then we gave that same song to one person, me and Jay would come up with something completely different than that person, because we're 2 minds. We have 2 different experiences, 2 different knowledges. It's gonna sound different. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be better because we have dual experiences and knowledge, right?
Right.
So that's all. But I do think it would be very smart for everyone to get a mixing engineer, recording engineer, and or a mastering engineer. At least have 1 to 2 people in a separate process, separate from your recording. Having someone who's out the loop and not biased to how it sounds, like having someone who wasn't in the session is just key, bro. Because when you're in the session listening to the record all day, you have demo-itis slightly. You know what I'm saying? At that point is all I'm saying. Like, you've been hearing it so long.
Right.
So a fresh set of ears can uplift the record in a way that you never could have. And you're kind of not deliberately, but you're kind of stepping on your own foot by not letting that person go to another mastering engineer or another person in the process. I'll never tell someone that. You want to go to a mastering engineer? Great. Let me know. Shit, I'll help you find one. We can do it together. I'm all for the better sounding records, and that's how you get it. I've only, in the past couple of years, I've really started experiencing how much a really good mastering engineer can really fucking just make this shit go up like night and day. It's crazy. But I think those are the majority of my just be respectful, man. Respect people's time, show up on time, pay. Don't be a dickhead. You know what's actually great? If y'all just come in there and just pay straight up. You know what I'm saying? Just pay me.
Yeah.
You know, just in general. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's certain things that, like, you know, this job is very hard and it puts a lot of pressure on us, and we put our all into this. So it's the little things for us, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. You
Not to
pay
mention,
early.
not to,
It makes us feel good. You
not
know.
to mention, no, everything that you do in the process is still it's work to the process,
Right.
whether you like it or not. Whether you know
100%.
in the end results, you're still putting in the time, you know, to work on this person's product.
100%.
So, you know, that's something that artists need to understand and take into consideration, where it's like, you know, you get to the place at the end of this where it's like, well, yeah, you've been, you know, I've been listening to it the whole time we recorded it. I've been listening to it the whole time, and I don't know, I kind of don't like it. So why should I pay for it? Well, we spent 3 hours at minimum, at minimum, because we're not going to even
Mm-hmm.
talk about a 1 hour recording session.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other conversation. But the whole time, you know what I'm saying, that's time. And every part of that process takes time, because even getting to the point of going through that process of saying, like, okay, boom, we recorded all of this, we put this mix on it, and then you've had and then at the end of the session you're not liking it. Two things. Number one, have you really gave yourself time to listen to it? Go and listen to it, go away from it, come back with fresh ears to listen to it again. They think that, you know, you know, you're supposed to be able to just identify whether, you know, it's good to go right there at the end of that session or not.
100%.
Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're right. I mean, a lot of people don't even take the time to listen on multiple systems, bro, to be honest. They'll listen on their
Right.
headphones and then just hit you back within five
Shout out
minutes
to
and be
Jay
like, yeah,
White
bruh.
tuned in. Shout out to Jay Smooth tuned in.
Yo,
Some
yo.
legendary
Um,
guys right there. Um,
Freaking, yeah, I just feel like they won't even, to be honest, even take the time to listen on a system that can properly produce low end. Like, you know how many people don't check in their car, especially in New York, that come back to
right,
me and give me corrections. It's like, all right, bruh, but you have no way of replicating low end
right.
at all, not even down to 40 or 50 hertz. So you're literally giving me feedback and advice to turn down the bass without even hearing the bass. So what are we even talking about right now? You know what I'm
Right.
sayand
The
Nothing.
frequencies and the things that you don't that goes beyond
Their knowledge.
your understanding. Right, right.
And I'm trying to
Exactly.
help you out, but you're fighting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of what we do is like, you know, one thing that a mentor of mine told me, and that's very key, is a lot of what we do as engineers or producers is find ways to meet in the middle and compromise. So that means
Mm-hmm.
finding what they need and what they want, but still finding a way to slide in our technical shit to make it hit and really highlight those mids and high end and just uplift that record and make it shine. That's what makes a good engineer. Because a good
Mm-hmm.
engineer still has people fighting back. Best believe everyone at every stage has an artist that thinks this should be added or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
at some point you have to, you have to know and be confident in yourself and your sound and your ears to just make it be known, this is why we're doing it this way. I will respect that wish, but we have to do it this way as well. So we're meeting in the middle. And that's how a good relationship in music works, is
Mm-hmm.
compromise in general, in my opinion. I mean, you have to think, I'm an artist, right? You're an artist. And we're both working on a song together. I'm mixing it, you're recording it, you're
Mm-hmm.
the writer, right? So we got to work together, man. Like, my technical abilities is more frequency related. So just let me sit in my bag with that, and you sit in your bag with everything else.
Mm-hmm. Quick question. As an engineer, are you more numbers focused? Um, Got to be at this hertz, this, this cut, this boost, this, or are you more ears focused?
As of
What do you?
lately, as of lately, feeling, feeling. I'm dipping away
Okay.
from the numbers, and I'm closing my eyes a lot more and using a lot more EQs that don't have like visual things, especially when I'm doing boosting. Like when I'm doing reductive, I still use like a fab filter EQ just because I like that a lot, just how great it is. But as far as boosting and other things, I try to keep it very
Mm-hmm.
minimal on numbers. And yeah, just balance feeling and vibe as much as possible. But definitely I'm leaning way more on feeling. For example, I'll give you a prime example. I, especially as of lately, feel that spending the shortest amount of time possible is key. Let me
Mm-hmm.
explain what I mean. In the first 2 hours of mixing a record, unless we're talking about like 150 stems or something wild, we're talking about like, 40 stems max, 30 stems, a regular song. Typically within 2 hours, bruh, I get to a point where I'm starting to overthink the process and being like, should I add this or should I add that? When I get to that place, I know that the mix is, I should stop and come back because 9 times out of 10, I've already mixed the record how it should be mixed. Now I'm just starting to add extra things that are unneeded. Within the first 2 hours, you're the freshest, and that's when you have the best creative ideas. And I like making my moves and my decisions through just feeling and just innate. Okay, like if you see me mix, especially lately, bro, I'm real quick and fast. I don't think twice, ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like up, this down, bring that out, put that on, do that there, throw that, you know what I mean? Like quick. Just super, just what's the word for it? Like super intuitive. You know what I mean? Just super like off of just like innate feeling in that moment. And then after 2 hours, I feel like you start to lose that innate judgment. Like your first innate reaction should be the best, typically, in my opinion, what I've realized. So like I'm really into, especially lately, doing things within 2 hours, maybe 2.5, and stopping. And if I need to come back, I'll come back. But I just find the best artistic moves come out within that first, that first 2 hours, dude. Like,
Do you feel less is because you've had time to experiment with a lot? Are you at a place where true or false, less is more in the template, or is it like more is really what's needed?
more. I mean, it depends on what we're talking about. I'm saying more as in effect sense. I'm not saying more within as in like hella EQs and compressors and
Yeah,
shit. I'm just talking about
yeah.
mad effects. When I say I have mad effects in my template, bruh, like mad effects. Meaning
Yeah,
I can open
that's what
any template and I can just be like, okay, here's a deep voice throw. Boom. I can just put it on a track and now it's a deep voice. I can take this and now put it on a track and now there's like a fucking quarter echo on it. Like I just have so many effects tracks and shit like that. Like it's all effects related. That's what's key to me personally. Not compression, not stuff on your master, but none of that. I can put that shit on the fly. I don't care about none of it. It's just effect sends, bro, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like mad reverbs, mad options, because I don't want to have to create none of that ever in a section. Like I don't want to have to create a fucking effect send, bro. That's horrible. So I just have like 30 of them, to be honest. Like so many, like flanger, chorus,
but like
doubler.
On your just on the tracking the vocals in itself, you keep it light.
Definitely, 100%, super light. Yeah, especially in tracking. I'm a big raw for the most part recorder. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not the person. Like I know people that like that, but I'm just not that. Like I'm not the person who wants to overly process a recording while you're recording. I know some people like want to hear it that way, but I mean that just tells me that you just don't like your voice, in my opinion. Like why don't not for real? Like if you need like 8 compressors and you need me to roll off the low end and all this shit, like I don't want to. Man, fuck it, I'll name names. What's her fucking name? Now I'm blanking on her name. It's not Black China, but one of those girls, one of those type of girls. I forget her name. It's not Black China, but I recorded a girl like that, basically. I forget her name, but I think it was like, might have been Chinese Kitty or one of those girls, bro. I don't remember which one, but she was like that, bro. And she had, her boyfriend at the time was YN Namir, and he sent me a template to record her on because she didn't like how she sounded because I didn't have hella shit on her vocals. Bruh, this dude had 5 SSL channels on her voice with like with like a 8 dB boost at 8K and like a 8 dB boost at it was wild, bruh. And she was like, "Oh, I sound so good." I was like, "Bruh." Oh my, but that's just a prime example of like people not knowing any better, people not being around good engineers, people not experiencing what they should, just being around quality music people, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
That's just from people like being around microwavable music people, you know what I'm saying? Like just people that use templates all the time and people that, you know what I'm saying, are just trying to recreate a sound that was already used and abused. You know what I'm saying? Like just stuck on that, where they're just in that bag instead of like, let me be myself and let me figure out my vocals type shit. Instead of that, let me like just make myself comfortable and sound like something else, which is not the right way.
Man, no, this has been a this.
I don't
this
know if anyone has any questions, but you can ask.
I know I'll be saved after too. So, like, I hope that that people definitely go and double back on that. I know.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a shit ton of gems in here. I'm gonna have to go back.
Yeah. Jay Smooth had made a comment earlier. He said an artist was salty over a rough mix that I told him was just for reference. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that this is something that should easily be able to be understood or need to be communicated every single time in the session, or even fucking written down upon agreeing to the session, paying to the session, where it's like, hey, understand what you're walking away with, what you're paying for is this, not a mastered song, not a fully final finished, rough. Like how do you feel that? What do you feel is the best way to make an artist understand that? Because even when you tell them, I feel like even when you tell them, sometimes you get to the end of the session, and it's like, did you not understand what I
Bruh,
what I
I'm gonna be honest, that's why we need to probably do another one of these.
we're
because I just
definitely gonna have to.
Because I just got so much to talk about. I'm not even gonna hold you. An hour is definitely not enough time.
No,
I'm like, bro, I could talk for hours.
Right, but
so I would love to go into very deep explanations and concepts that engineers and producers can use in their line of work, because I've been through a lot and I've experienced a lot, and bro, I don't play none of that shit. When I say I got literally, bruh, I can't make this up. You go to book online on my website, anyone can go to my website and see what I'm talking about. On the top, it says we prosecute for chargebacks, and we prosecute for for damage to the studio, all that. That's the first thing. Second thing, when you click on it, you have to click agree to the policies, and the policies say you are booking this time with Mixed by Gabriel. This is your time to get the song. Bro, I can't make this up. It says that they have to click checkbox, agree to it, even if they don't know what they're probably didn't even read it, but you clicked it, bitch. So it says you agree to understanding that you're paying for the time within this session to get the song how you want it, to explain to Gabe how to properly do that, and understanding that if you need any tweaks to your song done after the time that you booked, you need to book another session. That's like literally the first thing in it, bro. I also have the deposits are non-refundable. I ain't sending a deposit back. You can reschedule. Deposits are, you send me a deposit, it's mine, period. You want to cancel? Cool. I'm keeping your deposit. Simple. Like, I've done that. I mean, bro, I've been through a lot in my career. So I have made it, bro. I literally have made it so, knock on wood, but I've made it so nothing can really happen, bro, to be honest. Like, I literally have it set up to the point where people can't even book me. I have to accept their bookings, bro. And they have to tell me their genre they make. And they have to tell me their Instagram handle so I can see who they are first. Like, bro, I don't play. I used to until I've been through a lot.
And all of that is a testimony to all of the negative experiences you've encountered through your journey, to know this, to learn from, and know how to alter against encountering, or at least minimizing, the encounterances of those circumstances for the future.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
I mean,
mean?
all you can do, bro. I've come to understand this. Humans are just very interesting creatures, bro. You can't put your finger on humans. You can't understand a lot of humans. There's a lot of very just ignorant and not smart people, bro. All I can do is put things in place to where if you want to act not smart, I'm just gonna simply lay out why I'm not doing that because you agreed to this. You see it everywhere. Here it is. I'm not giving you
Yeah.
your bread back. This is how it's going. You knew it was up. If you want to act like you don't, that's great. But I have all proof, all the receipts, like bro. I have so many different systems, bro. I even send rules and policies to people, and the first thing in that is no disrespecting staff or ruining any equipment, or we have the right to end a session. I'll kick you out the studio, straight up. I'd even, to be honest, if someone was disrespectful, I probably wouldn't even give their deposit back. To be honest, I'll just be like, yeah, peace. You know, people just gotta understand, man. Like, we just want to make dope music with dope people, and if you just treat us right, man, we'll go above and beyond for y'all. But it's not that difficult of a concept. And if we're being honest, most of the biggest artists in the world have great relationships with a dope ass engineer that helped make their sound the way it is, and or producer as well.
Yeah.
So just remember that when you're trying to be a music artist, that you need a dope person to really give a fuck about your music the way you do. And the only way you're gonna have that is by treating someone kindly and like respectfully and paying them, bro. It's
Amen
not
to
even
that.
far fetched.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Amen to that. And on that note, I got one last question for you, boss, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But with all of that said, how do you what are your ways that you protect your mental health in all of the in all that you experience within this industry?
Exercise. Exercise is probably the biggest component. I mean, shit, people can vouch for me, man. I had to talk with a homie the other day. He interrupted my run, bruh, and I just started wilding out on him. I was like, bruh, don't you ever fucking come. I be so stressed out. I be so stressed out and going through it, bro. If I don't have my like moment of like me time to like just get it out, bro, because I'm a person who's just very energized and very like, 1,000 thoughts a minute, all that. You already know, bro. You're the same way. We're both in a line. So I need that though. I need that like that push in the morning, like to just like, just get it all out.
Yeah.
And just feel like I'm at a level playing field again. Because a lot of times, with the thoughts and maybe a stressful situation happen, but honestly and truly is exercise, bro. That is probably the biggest. That and meditation, breathing exercises specifically. Not even just meditation, but like taking a moment. To be honest, just taking a moment to put your phone down, man, and just look at your surroundings and breathe. Like mindfulness relaxes the fuck out of me and makes me way more calm, bro. Like I be so stressed and on my phone all the time, answering all these clients and all this shit all the time. A million things going on. There is nothing like just putting your phone down and breathing and just looking at the sky, bro. I swear to God, do that shit. It calms your heart rate down. It calms your mind down. Like, shit is real, bro. Like, I'm not making this up. Like, anyone can try that shit. I'm not joking. Especially when you live in a crazy city like this. Like, this city, like, you have to think, bro. All of our senses are on call all the time, bro. Our eyes, our nose, our eat, like, everything, bro. Bro, you've probably felt this as well, bro. If you ever take a moment of silence and quiet, it feels weird, but in a good way. It's
Yeah, even like especially like when you're when you're in on a go environment.
Yep.
Which is like go, and sometimes I just have to like literally step out for a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Go back
literally
into it.
Literally, bro. But that little breath
like
will
a reset.
save you.
Yeah. Like a reset. Sometimes you just got to step out for a moment and just reset and just pause time for a quick moment. You can't pause time, but you can pause yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then reset.
The only last thing I can think of is it's hard to come by, but definitely having like true good people in your life that you can hang out with and catch up with and have heart to hearts with. That's another thing that I truly feel like can make a person happy in life and make a person progress through stressful things and progress in their job and their career and their life, is just having like those, that Saturday where you get a brewski with the homie you haven't seen him in a while and he's just a good dude and you just catch up and vibe out and damn man, it's been a while. Like those are great. Like you need that too. You know what I mean? So those three things I feel like are like very pivotal things to keep you like healthy mentally and being able to continue.
Amen to that. Man, mixed by Gabriel, Third Eye Sound.
Hey, Catalyst. Crown Talk.
Another Crown Talk conversation, man. A very, very, man, this has been a dope conversation. It's everything that we said it was going to be. We knew.
Facts. Y'all don't even know that we have these combos every day. We just happen to do this shit. We just happen to do it for y'all. But we definitely talk like this. This is like regular. This is like we just have these combos. So it's dope to let y'all into it.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you. I definitely want you to know, man. I appreciate you for being you, and man, I appreciate the fact that you decided even when you got in lounge, you ended up taking that risk to go to choir.
Oh, facts, because we'd have never known each other. Big facts. I'm very appreciative. If there's one thing I can say, I love Quad Force for introducing Jay to me. That's it, though. For me, that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, man. But no. So yeah, we probably definitely have to run this back again. This might be one of those rare ones. I might have to do a volume, a round 2.
Volume 2. No, we need a volume 2.
Second round of Crown Talk, man. But man, it's been a blessing. This has been a long overdue. And man, I just want to continue. For the people who tuned in, make sure that y'all following Mixed by Gabriel. Make sure that y'all connect with this guy. He world of gems. Successful engineer, producer, and just doing a lot to give back to artists and inspiring creatives, especially like with what he do, the work that he does with his platform, like using vitamins and stuff like that. This is somebody that is definitely worth taking the time to get to know and be around, and can help so much in your career and stuff like that, man. But I thank you, G. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Have this to come and have this Crown Talk with me, man. And happy early Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is on the cusp.
You be right there. Happy holidays to anyone who tuned in. Yes, Turkey Day, gobble gobble. But we doing Cornish hens, you bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, we gotta keep that on. No one can know about that. That's secret.
Yeah, that's he's gonna love it. But no, man. Crown Talk conversation, mixed by Gabriel, Third Eye Sound. It's been another successful one. My brother, thank you so much for tapping in with me.
Appreciate you. Love, G.
It's been
thank you so much.
Absolutely. We'll have one back.
Love.
Have a good night.
Peace. You too.
Mm-hmm. This was good. Yo, told you. Every single time, these conversations are just dope. It's so much, that you're just able to get from these Crown Talk conversations. I hope you were able to take a lot from it. Make sure that after it's all said and done, run it back and just really digest and dissect everything that was said in this conversation, because of the fact that there's so much that you can learn from this. You know what I'm saying? But until that time, I will talk to you again. And until the next Crown Talk, baby, elevate your standards every single time. I thank y'all for tuning in and giving us your time to be a part of this tonight. We'll talk soon. Peace. And I'm going to leave you on this note.